What is a soil drench? Well, when it comes to the wonderful world of homemade liquid garden inputs, there's really two ways that we can use them. On our plants directly, either sprayed foliarly or just watered into their roots, or as a soil drench, where we're just pouring the input directly onto the soil with no plants in the ground. But what goes into a soil drench? Well, when we pour something on the soil, we're supplying the soil with nutrients or microbes, and ideally both. This could be as simple as a homemade liquid fertilizer or as advanced as an aerated liquid indigenous microorganism compost tea. But what's happening when we drench our soil with these? Well, when you pour nutrients on the soil, you run the risk of them leaching away. And it depends on what kind of soil you have in the first place. In sandy soil, your soil might struggle to retain moisture at all, which if you're applying water-soluble nutrients, those will drain away too. Now, during the growing season, if you're watering in some nutrients into your soil where the plant roots are ready to soak them up, you're going to be getting some use out of those nutrients. But I'd still argue that it's not worth applying raw water-soluble nutrients to the soil, even with plants in the ground. And that's because soil isn't an inert substance. It's got tons of microscopic organisms swimming around, and those microorganisms are performing tons of functions. They're helping to process nitrogen from the air and from fallen plant debris and dead animals. They're naturally aerating the soil and making it more tilthy for plants to be able to grow. And when plants are in the ground, microbes are taking the materials in the soil, processing them into plant available nutrients, and then delivering them to plant roots in exchange for root exudates, which are just simple sugary energy sources for the microbes. This whole dynamic means that when we bypass the microbes and only drench our soil with water-soluble nutrients, we're missing a critical piece of the puzzle. That's why I recommend always applying microorganisms, no matter what you're drenching your soil with, because through repeated application, these microbes are going to stick around in the soil. And even as they travel to the lower layers of the soil, they'll continue to do work, breaking up minerals into bioavailable nutrients, balancing out nutritional imbalances in the soil. And if microbes are working at deeper levels within the soil, it means that plants feel safer sending their roots down deeper. Deep root systems are reflected in above ground fertility and resilience. So this winter, try soaking your garden with a weekly batch of microbes. This can be as simple as an aerated compost tea that you brew indoors, or if you want to skip the bubbler, whip up a batch of Jadam microbial solution by culturing leaf mold soil microbes in water, feeding them mashed potatoes and a little pinch of sea salt. Wait a few days for the bubbles to form and you're good to water it into your garden soil. A great way to build passive fertility in your soil all winter long.